I call to order the meeting of the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District Board of Managers, December 2nd, 2024. All managers are present except Manager Hejmati, who may be joining us remotely. And if that happens, we'll go to roll call vote at that point. No members of the public. Next item then is approval of the agenda. There will be a couple of changes, Manager Miller. Just to say, we'll take 13 and 14 before 12. With that?
Sure.
Okay. Motion's moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Manager Olson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Consent agenda has minutes of the November 22nd board meeting, and that is all. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Manager Maxwell, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Loftus. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? As my report, I had two meetings on the same day. The 325 liaisons, the three of us met with the Hopkins liaisons and staff and advisors and had a big meeting on the 25th. So we can report on that later on when we get to number 12 on the agenda. And then that afternoon, I joined James and Ms. Baker and Ms. Hoppy and representatives of the park board and a resident to talk about the, what's it called, the Cedar Meadows wetland. And James was able to talk about the specific wetland there and also what we're doing with Minneapolis and the staging of projects and how Cedar might become a project area fairly soon. Good meeting, I think. Cold. Oh my gosh, it was cold that day. So much wind. Manager Loftus, will you report on the Operations and Programs Committee meeting?
Yes, thank you. Tonight, our staff gave us a election analysis report. They provided an update on all the municipal, county, and state level elections, and our government relations consultant provided a legislative update. And we were also able to recognize staff and our president for all the efforts and time they put into not only hear about it once a year, but the effort they put in all year round to keep those connections strong and really set us up for good partnerships. So it was a nice elections report, and thanks again to staff and President White.
Thank you. Our upcoming committee and board meetings are listed. They are off our usual schedule for December the 19th, but then the second Thursday in January the 9th. Let's go to item 11.1. Mr. O'Brien presenting Resolution 24064.
There we go. Good evening, President White, Board of Managers. Tonight, I'm before you to recommend the appointment of the 2025 CAC with Resolution 24-064. Minnesota State Statute Section 103D 331 requires the annual appointment of a Citizens Advisory Committee. The recommendations presented tonight reflect the input from the Operations and Program Committee in November. Tonight, I will briefly review the current CAC structure and operations, share an overview of the recruitment process, and summarize the 2025 applicant pool, provide final staff recommendations based on that consensus from the OPC, and seek a resolution from the board to appoint the 2025 CAC. You can pause if you have questions as we go. Otherwise, we do have some time at the end of the presentation for questions. To better guide our discussion tonight, I want to quickly review the current structure and operations of the CAC. As a reminder, in 2021, we realigned the CAC to support our balanced urban ecology approach and strategic priorities. The CAC's primary role is to stress test and red team the strategy, direction, and communication of our key initiatives. Within this structure, the district aims to achieve geographic, demographic, and professional diversity among CAC members. The CAC size is set at 14 members, twice the number of board of managers, and members serve 2-year staggered terms to ensure a balance of continuity and fresh perspectives. I also wanted to touch briefly on the CAC appointment process and recruitment timeline. This process is similar to the previous year, although we continue to evaluate its effectiveness and find new ways to enhance our efforts each year. So in August of this year, an online application form was created to optimize candidate analysis. The questions we ask help us evaluate candidates based on the criteria that was established in 2021. New members were then recruited through a multi-channel public process from September 9th to October 21st. The application posted to our website and through multiple social media posts. We engage with staff, CAC members, past CAC applicants, and partners at agencies and nonprofit organizations in the Water Resource Network to distribute our application. The demographic questionnaire was included as a part of the application, as was a position description to explain the duties and expectations of CAC members. From late October to early November, staff compiled the applications for CAC recruitment and developed recommendations for the discussion that occurred at the November 7th OPC meeting. Based on that discussion, staff have finalized the recommendations, and tonight staff is asking the board to appoint those recommended applicants as the new 14-member CAC. So in conducting our review of applications, staff focused on the elements that are listed here. Their criteria was developed by comparing evaluation criteria of other public advisory boards and refined with feedback from staff leadership. The background and experience of our candidates help us determine whether they will add value and perspective to CAC engagement efforts. The geographic, professional, gender, and racial diversity of our candidates provides differing perspectives, ensuring our programmatic efforts resonate with our diverse constituencies. We also consider whether the applicant can demonstrate the ability to think at a systems or regional scale so we can focus on the strategic priorities for the watershed as a whole. And staff also looks at past community participation to determine whether the candidate has experience working with others in similar settings. This may support their ability to foster a supportive group culture and provide leadership to other CAC members. So based on our staggered term cycling in 2025, 6 current CAC members will be starting the second year of their term, leaving 8 remaining vacancies for applicants. This includes seats left vacant by Kara Donovan and Emily Ballo, who have both moved out of the watershed this past year, as well as Dan Flo and Marcy Bean, who are stepping down from the CAC after providing meaningful contributions to district efforts. Resolutions of recognition for all departing members will be included in agendas at upcoming meetings. This year, we received 11 applications to fill the open 8 positions for the 2025 CAC. Since state statute indicates the entire CAC must be appointed annually, our 2025 appointment recommendations are to appoint the 6 incumbent members in continuing their 2-year terms. As a reminder, these are the individuals that did not participate in the competitive application process this year. Staff recommend the appointment of all 4 interested incumbents and the appointment of 4 new competitive applicants. I will frame our recommendations for the 8 applicants in this box here. In this year's applicant pool, we did receive 4 applications from current CAC members who wish to be appointed to a new term. We've denoted these as incumbent applicants. We also received 7 new applications from residents around the watershed, shown here as new applicants. I'll note a few demographic highlights. We have a pretty even split in terms of gender at 6-5 in favor of female applicants. A diversity in employment status, moving more toward full-time applicants with only 4 retirees. A strong amount of age diversity with every age group being represented. And most of our applicants had a 4-year or graduate level college degree. This map visualizes the geographic distribution of the total 11 members of the applicant pool from 2025. So new applicants are marked in blue and the incumbents are in orange. So based on the discussion at the November 7th OPC meeting, staff are recommending the appointment of the incumbent applicants that are listed here in green for new 2-year terms from 2025 to 2026. All interested incumbents are in good standing, who meaningfully contribute to MCWD initiatives and regularly attend meetings. Also, 2 of these incumbents currently serve on the CAC Executive Committee. We also recommend the following 4 new competitive applicants for new 2-year terms from 2025 to 2026. Our first recommendation is Ricardo Bonner. Ricardo currently serves as a Minnesota water steward and will increase the diversity of CAC representatives with his age and professional background. He provides good balance as a representative from Wayzata and the upper watershed. He also provides a unique perspective as a member of the BIPOC community. In his application, he identified many key issues that reflect compatibility with the district's scope of work, indicating a solid understanding of community needs. Next, staff recommends the appointment of Joshua Fashi. Joshua will also provide diverse representation with his age and professional background. With the loss of 2 current members in Minneapolis, his placement is a good opportunity to provide geographical representation in the area. He provided strong responses to the application questions, indicating a solid understanding of district work and key initiatives. He has also shown a desire to expand his involvement in watershed stewardship by volunteering for cleanups with the Friends of Lake Hiawatha. And with a suite of new projects in the Minnehaha Parkway that plan to have significant water resource benefits to Lake Hiawatha, it would be good to have a member as a representative from that area on the committee. Next, staff recommends the appointment of Steve Haig. With the district hoping to establish greater geographic distribution across the upper and lower watersheds, Steve provides good balance as a representative from Minnetrista in the upper watershed. Steve is a retired environmental educator and has volunteered with Carver Park Reserve and other environmental NGOs, suggesting a strong inclination for environmental stewardship and someone who would bring to the CAC a penchant for effective group dynamics. With his educational background, he can provide a beneficial perspective and skill set as we begin communicating complex policy topics such as the 2027 Watershed Management Plan to stakeholder groups and the general public. Our final recommendation for appointment is Kevin Zoller, a resident of Excelsior. Kevin would contribute to our representation in the upper watershed, especially given the loss of a current member from this area. Kevin is self-employed and serves as a Minnesota water steward and on the board of directors of the Lake Minnewaska Preservation Association. As a board of directors, Kevin has a strong interest in the Highway 5 expansion project and has dialogued with MCWD permitting and other state officials on solutions surrounding Lake Minnewaska pollution. As a leader in his community with a strong desire to understand watershed science and policy, he can serve as an advocate for our regional focus as we continue to expand our work. This is also Kevin's second time applying to the CAC, indicating a strong desire to serve. Based on our evaluation criteria, staff are not currently recommending the appointment of remaining applicants Jessica Miller, Myrtle Turnquist, or Samantha Wheeler. However, we will encourage them to stay engaged with our work and to apply again next year. This map shows the location of our current CAC appointment recommendations. Those marked in blue are recommended for appointment in 2025. These include the 6 members continuing their terms, the 4 incumbents we recommended for appointment, and the 4 new recommended applicants. As you can see here, the applicants recommended for appointment would ensure balanced representation from the major subwatersheds we're working in: Minnehaha, 6 Mile, Painter, and Long Lake Creek. If you were to appoint the 2025 CAC according to the recommendations that I just shared, this would be the new composition of our 14-member committee. From this group, we have professional water resource experience, but it is also balanced with a diversity of other professional experiences, including business, education, healthcare, and more. We also have a stronger balance of upper and lower watershed representation. In fact, this group would provide a representation of 10 cities across the watershed from a current 8. And this would be the geographic distribution of the 2025 CAC based on staff recommendations. Again, as you can see, this group provides a strong balance of representation across the watershed with 6 total members located in the upper watershed, which is an increase from 4 in our current CAC. President White, Board of Managers, thank you for hearing our recommendations for the 2025 CAC. Unless there are remaining questions, staff requests the board take action to appoint these applicants to the 2025 CAC with Resolution 24-064. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt? I'll take a motion from Manager Maxwell, second from Manager Olson. Any questions from Mr. O'Brien? As observed, we did discuss this in committee. Go ahead.
Just really appreciate the thoughtfulness that your group put into making these decisions. We did get a presentation from you at an earlier committee meeting, and it was a terrific presentation, which is kind of what we expect. Everybody in Sam's group does incredible presentations, so I really appreciate your work on it.
Manager Olson, yeah, thank you. We're continuing to refine our process, and we'll hopefully continue to get better year after year, so thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
One other quick one. The ones that didn't get appointed, we were talking about maybe sending them information out to make sure that we're going to follow up on that, for they stay in tune for in case we ever need somebody, they're right there.
Yeah, Manager Maxwell, yeah, so when we notified the individuals who are not going to be selected for appointment. We let them know that we would subscribe them to certain email newsletters and communications that we can stay in touch with, and all of those members have indicated that they would like to maintain that line of communication, so we'll continue to do that, and hopefully that will maintain that engagement.
Thank you.
Gotcha. Any other questions? Now that Manager Hijmati has joined us, we'll do a roll call vote on adopting this resolution. Manager Maxwell.
Aye.
Manager Olson.
Aye.
Manager White votes aye. Manager Loftus.
Aye.
Manager Sando.
Aye.
Manager Miller.
Aye.
Manager Hijmati. Motion passes.
Manager Hijmati's unmute.
He hasn't got his.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, it really passes, right? We'll move next to, thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you.
Next to Resolution 24065, Ms. Vasek.
Sorry, just one moment. I just have to change the, I cannot see my notes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's about boardroom technology, maybe.
I know, it is.
Perfect.
Fitting, right?
This is totally
You
staged.
planned it.
Just so
Yeah, no,
everyone had trouble getting into the meeting.
It includes a training program, right?
Why do we need this?
Yeah,
There we go.
sorry. Good luck.
Good evening, President White and Board of Managers. Tonight, I am here to speak with you requesting authorization to purchase and install upgraded boardroom technology, as you can see why. The district has made a commitment to ensuring transparency for the communities we serve and the stakeholders we partner with. As part of this commitment, we record and publish audio and video of all our board meetings. We are experiencing a variety of issues with the current AV technology in the boardroom and are requesting authorization to go ahead and purchase and get some new upgraded technology. So tonight, I will provide you a brief background and understanding of our current system. I will discuss the scope of work we are hoping to accomplish with this project, our vendor selection process, and then we'll end with board consideration. So our current system was installed in 2013 by, it was Space at the time, but now is known as iSpace Environments, at a cost of a little over $107,000. It was originally envisioned for manual control and post-production and included equipment and functionality that I don't think was ever fully utilized, like the video production equipment pictured here that is located in our server room. And today we are finding our current needs are much more focused than before. The system, quite frankly, has reached the end of its useful life. We are experiencing increasingly unreliable video recording and have also started having some complications from our audio recordings as well. We've had iSpace technicians out to troubleshoot the issues, and they have concluded that due to the age of the equipment, that any fixes or software patches they might try could potentially result in a full system failure. Additionally, since the COVID-19 pandemic, we are seeing an increased demand for hybrid meetings. We currently fulfill this by using the parallel laptop seen there, with a camera aimed at the presenter and a soundbar for audio, which creates a complicated setup process and a subpar user experience, which I know some of the board managers in the South have experienced while trying to attend board meetings remotely and then having some sound issues or not being able to see the presentation. All this underscores the need for a modern integrated solution. In looking at our options, we really focus on simplifying functionality to meet 3 core needs. We've identified those as hybrid meetings, presentation integration, and reliable audio and video recording. Looking a bit further into each of these needs, for hybrid meetings, we need to be able to easily initiate and host virtual or hybrid meetings. We need reliable and clear audio-visual connections for remote participants, and we need streamlined host management of online users. Currently, we are not able to integrate staff presentations into the video recordings themselves and would like to have this functionality in a new system. And we need to be able to reliably record both audio and video to be uploaded to the website. As stated earlier, this has been an ongoing issue with our current system. Based on an understanding of past challenges, current and future needs, staff has proposed a retrofit and modernization. This scope of work will include integrated video conferencing system and user experience, necessary and accompanying modernizing of AV components, and a new control panel for one-touch meeting management. Wherever possible, we are reusing current equipment or retrofitting. The displays of the TVs will be reused, but new video decoders will be installed on each one. The decoders are needed to support updated video formats and avoid compatibility issues across the new system. The existing ceiling speakers will be reused, as that technology hasn't actually really changed that much. We will be using the existing microphone bases and installing new digital signal processing on each of the gooseneck microphones at the dais. This will ensure high quality and reliable audio. 2 additional wired gooseneck microphones will be installed at the presenters table. Currently, we have these wireless microphones, which can be kind of unreliable. 2 video conferencing cameras will be installed, replacing the front and rear cameras. The side camera will be removed as it's not currently utilized. A new wall-mounted touch panel will be installed with programming updated to include integrated hybrid meeting capabilities. And just to further highlight our needs even more, if you look closely, you can see that on our current display, we have an unknown FTP error that we have not been able to get resolved. For our vendor selection process, staff solicited quotes from 3 different vendors: iSpace Environments, Electronic Design Company, and Height Technology. All vendors were provided an opportunity to walk through our space. We had discussions around current system functionalities and issues and what we would need from a new system. We also provided them a drawing with dimensions and allowed them to take pictures where they needed to. And then we permitted them a visit to the server room to look at the hardware and equipment in the server room and then to inform installation costs. Staff evaluated the quotes based on cost, system functionality, so does the proposed system meet our usage scenarios or technical needs, and alignment with our district's needs. Will the proposed system enhance or improve remote collaboration? Will it provide our desired transparency by reliably producing audio and video recordings? The lowest cost quote was excluded because it lacked some essential functionality, such as the ability to record meetings outside of a Zoom call and the lack of that one-touch meeting management we were looking for. We found the 2 remaining quotes to be responsive to the request and comparable in terms of functionality. So after careful consideration, staff recommends iSpace Environments as the vendor for this project. Among the 2 finalists, they were the most cost-effective. Their quote for this project came in at just under $56,000. The other finalist range was $75,000 to $90,000. They possess a deep understanding of our system and needs since they installed the original system, and they have implemented and currently manage the hybrid technology in 3 other district conference rooms right now. They are an established and trusted technology partner with a proven track record and familiarity with our infrastructure, which we believe makes them uniquely equipped to ensure this project's success. And finally, they are a state contractor. Per state statute, for contracts estimated to exceed $25,000, we must consider the availability price and quality available through the state's cooperative purchasing venture. As far as budget consideration goes, we are requesting to use funds from the IT other miscellaneous budget. With a fund budget of $78,000 and with planned expenditures coming in at just around $7,000 this year, due to us postponing project management systems into future years following Alex's departure, this system can be implemented with 2024 dollars within budget. So for board consideration, to maintain our commitment to full transparency to the communities that we serve and to ensure our ability to provide a good user experience for those participating remotely in board meetings, staff is recommending that the board approves resolution number 24-065 and authorizes staff to purchase and install the new boardroom AV equipment as proposed. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution? Manager Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Sando? Any questions for Ms. Bostic? Manager Olson?
We have the other conference rooms already set up for hybrid.
Yep.
Is there any way that we could theoretically someday have a meeting where all those rooms are used at the same time and communicating? Can they all be integrated into one system?
So are we all being running the same meeting?
Right. You'd have Team A upstairs, Team B over there, and Team C in here, and everybody seeing a joint presentation and then doing their own independent work and then coming back for something. That kind of a thing, is it? And I'm not asking for an answer right now. I'm
Yeah.
just throwing the idea
It's something
out.
we can look at. I think that probably would be completely possible.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Service contract, is there an ongoing maintenance contract for ongoing
They
services?
provide ongoing support, because we already have them, we already work with them. We pay per hour to have techs come in and help. That's what we already have for our other conference rooms, so it would be the same kind of thing for this.
Oh, so they don't have like you could sign up for a 4-year service contract in case something went down?
I don't believe so, but it's something I can look further into. It would be a separate from this.
Yeah, if it's not, like it's not too expensive, a service contract would make sense just for ongoing maintenance.
Yeah, and we do have solution builders as our IT support, and they do help initially with troubleshooting if we're experiencing issues with the hybrid technology in a room. We start there because we do have that service contract with them. And then if it's beyond their capabilities, then that's when we call in iSpace technicians to help out.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right then, voting on adoption, Manager Hajmati? Aye. Manager Miller?
Aye.
Manager Sando?
Aye.
Loftus?
Aye.
White says aye. Olson?
Aye.
Maxwell?
Aye.
The resolution is adopted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Was there a need to understand what was presented before you voted for this thing? I have no idea what was proposed.
Just think it's a good thing.
Okay. Got
Things
it.
will work better.
Okay.
That's good. Keep it
Use of
keep
10-year-old
it simple.
technology that needs
That's good.
upgrading. You got it.
Item 13, are there board inquiries, issues, or ideas to bring forward tonight? Then I'll move to item 14, which is the administrator's report.
Thank you, President White, managers. 3 or 4 updates tonight. We'll start with water levels. The ice is almost in on Lake Minnetonka. I think Grays Bay is officially iced in from my firsthand vantage this morning. Grays Bay Dam's officially closed for the winter. We closed the gates just before Thanksgiving at ideal ice-in elevation at 928.59, so 100, just a smidgen under 928.6, which is perfect. We did some light de-icing work this morning with Minnetonka Public Works to get the stop lugs in and gate 1 raised all the way. So another big shout out to the Minnetonka Public Works crew for all of their help this season. Which I think is a decent segue into our efforts to fill the project maintenance manager position. We just started interviews for that position today. We're expecting to have second round interviews in the next couple of weeks as we do callbacks. Obviously, I'll keep the board informed, as well as Minnetonka Public Works, as that process advances. This Thursday, I think we have delegates, well, probably earlier than I am, maybe delegates are leaving tomorrow up to the Minnesota Watersheds Conference. I'll be heading there Thursday morning, back down Thursday night, my usual one-day run. We've got a slightly larger staff presence this year. We've got some newer faces that are interested in learning all there is to learn about the watersheds across the state and what they're doing. I'll be presenting Thursday morning, 9 a.m. on the Watershed District's Climate Action Framework and our supporting work to build the two-dimensional model. So I'll be joined by Brian Beck. He's been a late addition to the program, but I convinced him to co-present with me. So we're going to be going up there and tag teaming that presentation. I think it was the last meeting I'd given an update about the a recent permit that the board considered for a variance and actually denied the variance for a driveway installation around West Branch Road in the city of Orono. I had outlined some next steps that staff would be taking to facilitate a meeting with the applicant, Mr. Ortlip, and his neighbors. Meeting went quite well. I was joined by permitting staff as well as the district engineer, and we were able to walk through the hydraulic analysis that the neighbor had requested, facilitate, I think, a strong dialogue, and ultimately we concluded the meeting with seeming agreement on a design that would both meet Watershed District rules, so no flood stage increase, and seemed to be acceptable to the upstream neighbor. So that would involve twin culverts under both driveways. It'd be funded by the applicant, Mr. Ortlip, and then construction access would be provided by the neighbor. I think we left saying, you know, it's theirs to negotiate the final terms on, but we got, I think, concrete agreement in the meeting as to what would be reasonable, which seemed like a good outcome because it also meets the district's rules. So our commitment in follow-ups really just to provide detailed modeling summary, and then we offered to remain available if they want us to broker another meeting and facilitate any more technical conversations. So just wanted to close the loop on that. And then I think final note for our Board of Managers is it's appointment season. So we currently have Manager Hejmadi, Maxwell, and Olson are seeking reappointment. I've had some touch points with each just to make sure, hopefully you feel this way, that the process for appointment is pretty clear. Hennepin and Carver County is a little bit different. I know all the managers are coordinating actively with member communities to support their appointment, which I think in Hennepin County anyway happens usually February to March, and I think Carver County's on a pretty similar schedule. So, and President White, you mentioned our meeting with Cedar Meadows, so I don't need to cover that.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Whisker?
No, thank you very much for your effort on the variance.
Yeah, of course.
It helped him too, so.
You know, there was, the neighbor sent a correspondence to the board. Could you send us a report so there's this equal record on the resolution?
Yeah, of course. I think once we, Manager Miller, Board of Managers, once we provide written follow-up of the modeling to both the applicant, the neighbor, and the city, we'll make sure that gets into the record in the board meeting.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Manager Miller. Anything else? All right, then we'll go to item 12.1, Mr. Heyman. I don't know. We can feed that.
I think it's this one. It's just kind of.
You know, we need some new equipment in this boardroom.
Gosh.
I know, we're going to shut the show up.
Yeah, right. We got the point.
It must not be good news if you put Mike in charge of the presentation rather than. If it was good news, he'd give the report.
Block away.
Well, good evening, Madam Chair, Managers. Before you this evening to continue, our discussion surrounding the ongoing negotiations of developable land at 325 Blake Road, and as such would recommend that the board advance into closed session. if it so chooses, Lewis can certainly lead the board in that process.
Thank you. Louis?
Managers, we recommend that the board go into closed session for the purpose of considering whether or not to allow the purchase and sale agreement for 325 Lake Road in Hopkins to expire or consider revision of its terms.
Thank you. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
I'll take Manager Miller and second for Manager Olson. Voting on going into closed session, Manager Maxwell?
Aye.
Olson?
Aye.
White says aye. Loftus?
Aye.
Sando?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Hijmati?
Aye.
Thank you. We are in closed session. May I have a
We got a
motion to
headache.
go back into open session? Me too.
So moved.
Thank you, Manager Miller. Second?
Second.
It's Manager Sando. Voting on open session, Hijmati? Miller?
Aye.
Sando?
Aye.
Loftus?
Aye.
Maxwell?
Aye.
Olson?
Aye.
White? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.